it or
there it is.
fade it.
All right, so we've got JP Morgan, GE Vernova, IBM, NASDAQ, and CrowdStrike, just some of the names hitting records in today's session. So let's start off with JP Morgan. I'll go to you, Tim, for that.
Well, I love money center banks here for the combination that is the tailwinds on regulation. But we've got a steepening yield curve at this point. Net interest margins, I think we have an uptick in M&A and investment banking revenue. I think you've got a dynamic here where their capital adequacy, but their ability to give back capital for the entire space is good. This is best of breed. I like this name even after a big move.
What if Jamie Dimon retires, which is coming closer and closer as
Much
the days
to Karen's
go on?
chagrin, who was in Italy. Did I dox her when I said that?
Well, you just said it, so you doxed her.
No, I think 5 years ago that's a problem. I think today it's not as much of a problem. My problem with JP Morgan, it's a problem I've had for a while. Price to book, price to tangible book is at levels we've seen since pre-financial crisis. It's expensive. There are banks that I like. Citi is one of them. JP Morgan, fade it, Mel.
All right, let's get to GE Vernova. Steve Grasso, what do you say?
Yeah, I still think this one is a buy. Their wind segment of their revenue is obviously being challenged right now, margins, and this is not the right administration for wind energy, but the electrification, that one has a tailwind. And that one, with AI and everything that's going on with data centers, will never run out of steam, and I think this one is still a buy. I trade it.
Dan Nathan?
I'd be fading it. I mean, the stock's up 100% in 2.5 months. I think everything that Steve just mentioned from a fundamental standpoint was known in early April. It's pretty well known now. I think investors are full up on the thing. If you own it, keep owning it. If you don't and you're interested in the story, I wouldn't buy it here. You're going to get a pullback. All
right, let's get to IBM here. I mean, ever since the quantum computing announcement, that really helped juice the stock.
And I think for that reason, I want to fade this one. I realize that was an easy thing to do in years past when IBM was essentially dead money. It has been one of the biggest outperformers, one of the biggest surprise names, and I think there's been less coverage of IBM's success story and where they sit also in some of the new trends here. I just don't think it's cheap anymore.
Yeah, I think they could do a lot more efficiencies with IBM. And they were the original player in AI with Watson. Never got the adequate amount of acclaim for that. I think they're going to be as equally impactful with quantum computing. I think they're turning around the ship. It's very difficult to do for them. I'd be a buyer. I trade it.
All right, NASDAQ, our landlord here. The NASDAQ market side. Guy, what do you say?
I'm a trader, a bit of trader. It's been wrong for a while, but today I think it made an all-time high. Valuation, it's not unreasonable, and I think if you believe that IPOs are coming back in the way they are, if you look at the calendar, NASDAQ is a place you want to be, so I trade it, Melms.
Dan, NASDAQ, what do you say?
Yeah, I agree with Guy, but again, it's had this huge run. If you had like a check back, maybe at 75 or something like that, you're going to want to reload. I think the performance of some of these IPOs over the last couple of months, it should be, folks, if you were thinking about going IPO and you dust off that S1 and you get it out here right now with the market back at the all-time highs. So to me, NASDAQ is definitely something you want to buy in a pullback.
All right, we got time for crowds. Let's do it. Tim, CrowdStrike.
Buyer, trade it. I think it's a case of security, cyber trends. This is the name to own. This is a valuation that's not easy to own. This is a growth profile that I like, an order book I love.
Guy.
Big valuation. I don't care that much. They got through that, obviously, that huge downdraft a year and a half or so ago, and they did it swimmingly. You trade this one.